What do masseuse, mechanics, and dentists all have in common? They all go to school. Okay. And that is where we can save tons of money by going back to school. Okay. Far too often, we might find ourselves spending premium prices on routine personal care. Now, the hack that we can have is a win win. You can get high quality services at a fraction of the cost.
Everyday people working 9 to 5, saving up that money, trying to survive, investing in the future, trying to be wise. We're gonna be money heroes. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nick Johnson, host of Everyday Money Heroes, and I've reached early retirement. I'm here to provide information on how to obtain financial independence and inspire you through sharing stories of everyday people who are turning knowledge into freedom.
That hustle, always reaching for the sky. We're gonna be money heroes. Never gonna shy.
Hello, and welcome to Everyday Money Heroes. We provide information and inspiration to people of all ages to take control of their financial journey. I'm your host, Nick Johnson, and today we're going to discuss going back to school to save money. But first, if you're watching this on YouTube, I would ask that you would subscribe, like, and share Everyday Money Heroes. Even if you're listening to this by way of podcast, that you would follow Everyday Money Heroes on your podcast platform of choice. With that being said, let's talk about going back to school. Now, you might be thinking, hey, Nick, there's no way I'm going to enroll in college to rack up debt just to get a student discount. That's not my intention here. If just give me a second here and just hear me out. Uh, what do masseuse, mechanics, and dentists all have in common? They all go to school. Okay. And that is where we can save tons of money by going back to school. Okay. Far too often, we might find ourselves spending premium prices on routine personal care. Now, the hack that we can have is a win win. You can get high quality services at a fraction of the cost. Okay. While you're helping local students get the required hands on practice they need. Okay. And so we're not just talking about, haircuts and hairstyles. There's tons of things we can do. First of all, we can get deep cleaning from those who are learning to be hygienists. You can get a massage from individuals who aspire to become masseuses. You can also get your car repaired at trade schools where they might be working on engines or body repair. You can also find individuals who are striving to become HVAC technicians and need to get services done. And so, what I challenge you to do is just really think outside of the box and think about some of the things that you're paying for right now that you could use a trade school or a vocational school for. I know personally myself, on occasion, I go to a school here in town and get a deep tissue massage. Now, I've looked at the prices of places like Massage Envy and things of that nature, and a membership can be quite pricey. And you might not want to do something on a monthly basis and have that type of obligation, or even if you want to do a one off, it can be pricey. I know the last time I went to a local massage school here in town, I got a 50-minute deep tissue massage for $40. I went into there. It was actually, they have a really nice setup for it. You go there, you can register online, you can see what students are available. It has a lot of filters as far as, you can request specific genders, all kinds of stuff. It's really, really nice. I think you go in there, they are very attentive. And at the end, which is something that I usually don't get with my other, because I mean, I go to a regular uh, masseuse as well through my chiropractor. I've never really had the opportunity to fill out a form or a survey once I get finished with my service there. When I go to the uh, massage school, every time I do it, they sit down, they ask me, how was the service? What things did the student do well? And what things could they improve in? And honestly, they need that type of feedback. So it's a win-win situation. So it's extremely important for you to think about where you're spending money right now and how you can actually go ahead and cut back on some of those costs, still not feel deprived. Okay. We all want to, go get, nails done, haircuts, things like that. There is a dental school here where actually a dental school is orthodontics. And you can actually go there and get braces at a discounted rate, much cheaper than you would at a regular dentist. And so that is a great option as well. You can get cleanings. So really anything that you have to get licensed for, somewhere there's a school that teaches it, and there's a requirement for some type of hands-on with customers, and you can go ahead and you can leverage that to meet your needs. So oftentimes individuals will think about, okay, I don't want to be a guinea pig. Okay, is a student going to mess up my hair or my teeth? First of all, there is a lot of guardrails and safety nets established. First of all, you don't deal with, new first year students. Usually there is some theory and everything that an individual has to go through before they actually start to have those types of interactions with the public. Also, they're graded every step. Um, there's a licensed instructor overseeing what they're doing. And so there is a lot of safety nets involved there. So you don't have to be concerned. Now, will some freak accident possibly happen? Yeah, but I've had when I used to have hair, I got a couple bad haircuts from people who actually had their own shop, so that can happen anywhere. But just know that you're not being a guinea pig. Once again, this is a win-win situation. You are providing that individual opportunity, and oftentimes I've heard of individuals who have gone through and they've actually met someone at one of these trade schools or vocational schools. Then once they actually become licensed, they'll actually go and support them when they actually open up a business or get a chair at a existing barbershop or beauty salon. And so that's a good way to get someone early and get a win for both of you. So you don't have to worry about being a guinea pig. Also, we want to think about some things as far as being tactical when we are thinking about getting these services. Remember that we have to be patient, okay? Because oftentimes individuals, when you go to these schools, they may have to do one thing, they might have to get the instructor to check off on it. So just know that there might be a little bit longer than what you're used to when you go to your traditional healthcare providers or your masseuse and things like that. Okay, so just know that it just may take some time there. Also, it is not bad to tip these individuals. Okay, they're in school, so many of them might be full-time students, or some of them may also be doing this in addition to working full-time. And so just know that it's really a good idea to tip these individuals. Okay. I'm sure it does them well. It helps them because when they're doing these things, um, their hope is that, they make a good impression on their customers, also on their instructors, and just to get a tip really sweetens the pot for them. So definitely think about, tipping those individuals just like you would at your regular, establishments. Also, think about it, we're paying significantly less. So even when we give a tip, it's not biting us like it would in a traditional situation. And so if we think about the velocity of money, say for instance, you might be someone who, I remember my thing was I used to get a haircut every 2 weeks. That was my thing. I would get a haircut every 2 weeks. I would go to my barber. I enjoyed my barber, but just think about it right now. If I could possibly save 50% on my haircuts, 50% on my massages and things like that, that's freeing up money that I can put other places. And so how about taking that 50%, paying down debt, taking that 50%, adding it to our emergency fund, taking that 50% and investing it into the market. Okay, those are little tweaks that over time it compounds and it gets us to financial freedom. Okay, and so what I want to challenge you with is that can you think of some of the things that you're doing right now? Whether it is massage, nails, hair, whatever. Can you go and possibly go to one of these vocational or trade schools? It could be car repair. You might take your car to uh, an establishment and get the oil changed. Find these places in your community. Um, Go there, and what you would have typically spent on it, take that leftover money and do what I said before, or I suggested before. Go take those additional funds, put it in all those places. Okay, you'll see your you start to increase that gap, and you'll be able to compound your wins toward financial independence. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with going to these places. Um, it's a win-win for everyone. So I want to share that with you because I know oftentimes individuals feel as though we live a life of being deprived of things, and we don't. We're just strategic. Okay, and this is another tool that we can put in the toolbox, in which we can go ahead and still get a lot of the services that we want at a discounted rate. Okay, so if you have done this before, definitely go down in the comments and tell me your experience. Uh, if you haven't and you decide to do it, go down and let us know in the comment section as well. With that being said, um, thank you for coming by and being here with us on this episode. My name is Nick Johnson, your host. And as always, I'm going to remind you to trust the process. Have a great day.